Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday night crafting with wheels. I have a really fun card to show you tonight. Super simple again, and a fun way to use up designer paper and to see all different sides of our designer paper. Hey, Gay, how are you? We are just now starting to get some sleety kind of snow, so I'm glad I'm home. I'm feeling very proud of myself. I didn't do any home maintenance, nothing. So I get home tonight and go to turn on the fire. We have a gas fireplace in the basement and the fireplace didn't turn on. And I'm thinking, I just used it this morning. So anyways, I looked and of course the light where you set the temperature wasn't on. So I thought, oh, maybe it's on a battery. So long story short, I figured out how to take the cover off the thermostat, replace the batteries, and my fireplace is nice and toasty, warming up my family room. You know, it's those little things that remind me sometimes of really how much I miss my hubby. Anyways, long story short, I did it myself, so I'm feeling very proud. Anyways, welcome. There's so much that I could tell you, but I'm just going to highlight a couple things. I have a class here on Thursday, January the 29th at 1:30. There's still a couple of seats available. We make 3 cards, have lots of fun, have a little snack, a little coffee, a little tea, and create 3 cards for $20 or free if you place an order. This is a great month to place orders because if you spend $60, for every $60 you spend, you'll get a coupon from Stampin' Up! For $6 to put towards an order in February. I also want to talk about my crop is coming up on Saturday, March the 21st, and the survivor pool. I still have a few spots. Gay, thanks for joining. I think I need 5 more people to join group 2, and then we would have 2 groups. It's $20. You get 2 survivors. You play along. Ultimate Survivor this time. First person that loses both their survivors gets a $20 credit towards a purchase. The Ultimate Survivor wins the pot, which this time will be a $180 order. So it's worthwhile and we have fun, and it's just an interesting way of spending Wednesday night. Enough yakking. There's so much that I could tell you, but I want to get crafting. I posted the measurements earlier tonight, and I'm just going to flip my camera down. Oops, almost lost my phone here. Gosh, I seem to be having technical troubles all over the place. So I saw this tip, and you can't see it very well. This is my lesson to myself. I need to put things up higher. I wrote with a Sharpie marker right on my glass mat. And then I'm going to show you a tip on how to clean it. So for this card tonight, you need a half a sheet of cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 11. I'm just going to set these off to the side. You also need the piece that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. You need 1 little piece of designer paper. You could have it up to 1 3/4. I just had this scrap lying around, and it's 1 1/2 by 4. So we need that. And then we have 2 pieces of pattern paper. This is from, oh my goodness, I need to learn my patterns. The Lovely Blossoms that I've shown you before. It has that really fun cut apart sheet. Hi, Linda. What's Dorchester looking like for snow? I'm supposed to be in Dorchester tomorrow at 8 o'clock for an oil change, but I'm thinking that I might not be getting there if the weather holds like it says. So you need 2 pieces of pattern paper, and notice this one is landscape. So when you're cutting it, if your paper has directionality, make sure you're cutting it so that your paper is going the right way. And these 2 pieces are 4 by 5 1/4. And there's also 2 pieces of basic white, and these are, I forgot to include those in, but you wouldn't have been able to see them anyways. One is 2 3/4 by 4, and the other one is this one's 2 1/4 by 4, and this is 2 3/4 by 4. I'll post these again for you, but I wanted to show you this tip. So I wrote right on the on my glass mat, and I've also got some adhesive stuff stuck to it. So it needs to be tidied up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take an alcohol swab, because I happen to have a whole bunch of these, and this will wipe off that permanent marker in no time flat. So I can make notes to myself. I'm going to start using this more and more. I need to get some Sharpie markers. And it wipes right off. I need to get another one here because that blue ink really stains. Oh well, I don't have another ink or another. And then I just took you could take a paper towel. I just used a Kleenex to wipe that residual alcohol and any ink off. And there I have a nice clean workspace for stamping on. So I want to show you the card we're going to make. This is using paper from last month's product of the month, which is still ongoing this month. So here's the deal. For every $100 that you order from Stampin' Up, before taxes and shipping, you can then add on for $5 the product of the month. Now, if you took advantage of this in December, like I did, I can no longer get this paper. But for my order this month, I'm going to add the new product of a month, which is a set of stamps that's really great. They're all sentiments. So it's a stamp set that you can keep on your shelf and have for every occasion. But here's the cool point. If you didn't order the product of the month in December, you now have a choice in the month of January. So if your order is $100, you can either add the December product of the month, which is this pattern paper, or you can add the new stamp set. So great month to order. Bonus days with the $6 coupon, $100 order, and for an extra $5 you can add the product of the month. So let me show you this. So just gonna open the ribbon, and this folds out into a really fun little paneled card. Lots of room to write a note. You don't even have to stamp on the inside if you didn't want to. You could always add another piece of paper back here. And it's super, super simple and a great way of showing off 3 different patterns of that fun designer paper. So let's get busy and make this card together. So I'm going to take out my trimmer, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 11, and we're going to do some scoring because this is the panel for the front of the card. And this is one of those cards that it doesn't fold like it normally does. It just uses that 1/4 sheet for the base, and then the panel pops out. So to score this, I'm going to score on the long side at, let me get my measurements out here. I'm going to score at 1 inch, and I'm going to score, not cut. So I'm going to slide that in, making sure it's nice and snug at the top of my trimmer. 1 inch, 3 inches, 5 1/2, and 8. And while I still have my trimmer out, I'm going to take that piece of designer paper that's in the landscape position. That's 5 1/4 by 4. And look at that, it's going to layer right on my card base. And I'm going to do some cutting for this. So I'm going to cut this, and I'm not going to take it out of the trimmer. I'm going to take it and cut it at 3/4 of an inch. And I'll set that piece over to the side. And then I'm going to cut at 1 3/4 of an inch. And again, keeping it nice and tight up against that bumper. And one more cut at 2 1/4. And then that's going to leave us this little piece that's 1/2 inch. And we're just going to set those aside for 1 minute. And I can put this away. Out of the way here. Because now we're going to do some scoring or some burnishing, some folding and, burnishing. And we're just going to fold this. This is the piece that's going to go down. So that fold wants to go that way. And then the next fold is going to come back. And then this fold's going to go over. And then this fold is going to go back. So you want to get those 3 accordion pieces on your card. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and give this a really good, all those creases, a really good burnish, because you want it to lay as flat as you can get it. Like that. And you know what? It's one of those cards that don't worry if you don't get your folds going exactly the right way the first time, because the more you fold it, the better it's going to lay on your card front. You just want to remember that the biggest piece is the piece that's going to be the bottom. Like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add those pieces of designer paper back to the front of the card. And it's hard to see. This piece really doesn't have any of the petal pink in it, but this sure does. So we're going to put the petal pink side down, and I'm going to start with that piece that we cut off first, which is at 3/4 inch. Oh, come on, glue. There we go. And watch if your paper has directionality, that you're getting your flowers going the right way. So I'm just going to spread that out a little bit. Like that. And then we'll take the next piece. This is also a great card. You know, we have that scenery paper, and if you keep everything lined up, your pattern would stretch right across the folds. So some of you know, I told you that my niece had a baby last night. They got to the hospital in London at 12:20, and the baby was delivered at 12:56. And my sister had a message on her phone before 6 o'clock this morning that they were already home in Strathroy. So with the weather that's coming in and what I've seen online, it's a good thing the baby was born last night and didn't hold on to wait till this storm. So he's a pre-storm baby. Lots of hair. Looks like his dad. So we're just going to layer those pieces on like that. And then I'm going to take that wider piece of the white, which is, what did we say? It was 2 3/4 by 4. And this is where you're going to do your little note to whoever you're writing the card to. We'll put that on like that. Leave a nice little border all the way around. And then I think for this smaller piece, I'm going to grab the stamp set that coordinates with that paper, the Lovely Arrangements. Hi, Bev. Thanks to those who have joined me, and sorry, I can't see who's online. My, you know me, and my technology doesn't match up with what's going on. Anyways, remember, if you watched my video on Monday, you would have seen me use, where is that card? Is it still here? Oh, yeah. Instead of using a punch, I die cut the little flower that coordinates with the flowers in here, and I added the stamp to that, to the flower. So I'm going to do something similar tonight. So I'm going to take, and remember on the back of the paper pack, it gives you what the coordinating colors are. It's hard to see on here. But for this one, it's Crumb Cake, Cloud Cover, Old Olive, Petal Pink, and Secret Sea. So what I did, because Cloud Cover is that ink that reacted to the foam pads and didn't maintain its color, it actually holds its color on our inks, on the blank ink spots, because they are linen, like our old original stamp pads were. So I've inked up the, this is Cloud Cover, that beautiful pale blue. And I'm just going to ink this up. And I'm going to make sure, I'm going to just stamp off the side here to make it perfect. So I'm going to ink it up again. I just wanted to make sure, because it's really hard to tell if there's ink coming through on that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp down here in the corner like that. And I just want a delicate image. So that's what we have down there in the corner. And then I had it here a minute ago, and now I've probably lost it. Nope, there it is. The stamp that says Just a Note. And I took the Secret Sea ink, the new ink colors that all coordinate together. And I inked up the Just a Note that's from that, still from that lovely arrangement. And I'm going to stamp it on camera so you can see right across that flower, just to fill up that bottom corner and add a little bit of fun. Set that aside, and then I will attach that to the panel. And this is still going to give me plenty of room to write a note, a hello, a thinking of you, birthday, sympathy, really versatile. And pop that in there. And remember, we had that one little 1/2 inch strip of paper left over when we were cutting that. We can put that on the inside right there. And again, use whatever side of your paper that you like. And it's just 4 inches, so it's going to fit right on that piece of white, like that. And there's the inside of your card, all completed. This panel here is, you wouldn't have to put anything there. You could add an embossed piece. Tonight we're going to use more designer paper. And I think I'm going to use that piece just to add a little different something to the front. You can do it any way you want to. And this pattern really doesn't have a direction, so I can just, and this is why the original directions, and I think it's Connie Stewart's directions from, these cards have just kind of had a resurgence. It should be an extra 1/4 of an inch, but I had this little scrap and it's not going to show anyways when the card is closed. So make use of those scrap pieces of paper. And now I'm going to do my bow, and I'm going to decide, let me see, I think I am going to use, yes, this is the new ribbon that coordinates with this suite, and it's Cloud Cover. It's an online exclusive, so you have to look online for it. And I'm just going to tie, I'm not going to adhere this down because I want a nice bow and I want a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm going to pull this through, and see if I can actually I tied bows earlier today without cutting off the ribbon. Let's see if I can do it tonight. Probably with great difficulty. So I'm just going to make my, pull that nice and tight, like that. And then I bring the bottom loop up, and I make quite a large loop because I want to be able to get this around so that I can find where my fingers are and squeeze that piece up and make sure I'm grabbing what's going to be the loop. There we go. And then I can pull it and pull my tail and keep pulling and adjusting. And now I can take my sharp scissors and give that a little trim. I could have left a little bit more on this side, but we'll make do. And there I have a really cute little bow. Now, this bow is a little bit bulky, so you might want to hand deliver this card, or at least check at the post office before you send it away to make sure that they're not going to charge you extra postage for mailing that card. Because you heard my tale of woe from last week when I mailed my swap cards that I had to pay $1.75 each to mail 15 cards. So I hope the ladies liked them. And then just to secure that ribbon in place, and we want to attach this to the front of our card, I'm going to use some tear tape because it's very strong. As you can see, it was sticking to my fingers. So I hope wherever you are tonight and tomorrow and the next couple of days, you stay bundled up because we're going back to frigid temperatures again. And I know 402 was closed near Strathroy tonight. It was closed near Windsor. So if you have to be on the road, please, please drive carefully. And then we're ready to put this whole card together. So there we have that quarter sheet of cardstock. That's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And piece of the designer paper, that's 4 by 5 1/4. I think if you ask me, and I think if you go back and check my history, my most favorite card are these cards that take just that quarter sheet of cardstock on the bottom, because they're so unique. Nobody does this. We all do now that I've shown you how to do it. But it's just a fun twist to a boring old card. And I'm going to peel the backing off. So depending tomorrow on the snow, if I go to Dorchester to have my oil changed, my Tipster Thursday video will be in the afternoon. If I don't go to Dorchester because of the snow, my Tipster Thursday video will be in the morning. So we're just going to play it by ear. And then I'm just going to center that as best I can without looking to see if I'm centered. And there you have the completed card. Do you want me to undo it again? I have some bling too, but it's not handy here. And then all your friend will do is pull the knot and open it up. And there you have a really fun, simple, stunning card. There you have it, friends. Thank you for joining me. There the two are. You could easily add a sentiment to the front of that underneath your underneath the bow. I hope you'll give it a try. Thanks for watching. Drive safe, stay safe. See you tomorrow.